So we'll start with B-Ball Paul for the 2K ratings. 72 overall. Too high, too low, or just right?
Ooh, 72. I'd probably go a little higher because usually the guys in their late 60s are like either unplayable or they're dead-eye shooters that can't do anything else. So I think I'm going to go like 74. That seems like a fair spot to have. That's like TJ McConnell territory. I think that's fair.
James?
I think that, 72. Yeah, I think 74 sounds pretty good for B-Ball Paul.
Yeah, I like that a little more too. It is interesting. A lot of these in the same kind of area, so we'll dig through them one by one. Georges Niang, 73 overall.
Ooh, I go B-Ball Paul 74. I gotta go Georges at 75. 75. We'll 75.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Niang is just lights out from everywhere around the perimeter. So, if I'm playing 2K, he might be in my starting lineup. So we never know.
There you go. So Sixers team getting a boost right now. And the thing about Niang is just an objectively good shooter, regardless of position. So that's got to be his biggest asset there. To move on to Furkan. Furkan, we got at a 75. Happy to have him back. Thoughts on that?
Oh, I see that contract and I think, they want to. That's a trade chip if I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go high. I would. I think that's 71.
71. I'm a Furkan guy, so I think that sounds about right though. 75, and I agree with you, Austin. I think that is. And you mentioned Isaiah Joe earlier, which is a guy that kind of fills that similar role as Furkan. So it could be a trade season for Furkan, but I do love myself some Furkan Corp.
I will say this, like people, you can argue, you can debate like whether it's like a tradable contract. I pay close attention to the fact that they haven't had his reintroductory press conference yet, whereas they have had Danny Green's and like Andre Drummond's, and we're in a Zoom world, so it isn't like he's like out of the country, can't do it. Like, no, something smells fishy to me there.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening too. And regardless, he's a good guy to have around. So if he's here, I'm still happy for it. For reference, we'll go Isaiah Joe at 71. Too high, too low, or just right?
Just right.
I think that's fair. All right, Shake Milton, 76.
Too high, I think.
It sounds pretty high, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's
73. Is what I would
say. I think it's a little surprising to be sitting about this. I saw one early report where he was ranked like an 83, and I thought that was absolutely absurd, and it definitely was. But even 76, I think, is a little too much for him.
Yeah.
All right, Tyreese Maxey, 76.
I go 78.
Way too low. I'm thinking he's 79, 70, 80, maybe up there.
I think he's a guy that's going to be itching on the 80s by like midway through this year, and he's definitely a guy that's looked at to take the leap. So it's going to be exciting to see. Austin, what do you think about from him this year?
So I think he's the factor and the variable
for sure
that is going to take this team from like, they're middling and like they'll win their regular season games, but they're like they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. They're either going to be that, or they're a team that can basically narrowly miss a beat with Ben Simmons gone. And I think so much of it has to do with the improvement they're going to be as a half court offense with Tyreese Maxey in the starting lineup, assuming Ben isn't there. So I think he's going to be awesome. I was going to write this article, but someone else at my website is going to do it. But basically, there's like a huge precedence for guys that are finishing rookies that finish top 5-ish in driving efficiency to become stars, and he's grading right out to be like one of those guys. So if he becomes an all-star like by year 3, year 4, wouldn't be that surprising to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all about it. And the work ethic he puts in, the potential, and just like how lovable this guy is, I got nothing but love for Maxey, and my hopes are sky high for him. We'll transition to Danny Green at 77. Too high, too low, or just right?
I love DJ. I love that guy. 77 feels right. It's probably maybe even a little bit high. Probably 77, 76 is fair.
Yeah, I was going to agree, like right around that range.
Yeah, I think a little high in my mind too. I kind of think prime Danny Green's a pretty 77 player to me. So I think at this stage, maybe notching a 70, bump him down to 75. Seth Curry, 77 as well.
probably just right. I think it's probably like I think you can make the argument either way because like he's a definitive notch down from Daniel defensively,
Mhm.
but I think he's like a pretty significant step up offensively. So I think you could go either way.
Yeah, I'm going to go too low on
low.
this. I think it's low too. I think there's that him and Danny Green are kind of trending in the opposite directions career-wise, and some of that comes with just age. But I think what Curry possesses offensively, I mean, he was our most consistent player through the playoffs all year last year, and not that I expect that same effort, but I do think it's valid just kind of that there's more to his bag than he gets credit for.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a little bit too low for Seth Curry. I would have him up there 70. I mean, I think even like 78 sounds about right, but even a little bit too low, creeping up towards maybe 80.
I think people like take kind of for granted just how great Seth was in the playoffs.
Right.
Like, he really got torched. He was shooting like 60% from three on for him in that season, relatively speaking, an unprecedented volume of 3-point shots. And he was like doing a lot of creation off the dribble himself. Like, and that should have told everyone right there just how good the Sixers' chances were, because if Seth Curry is your primary initiator in the second round of the playoff series, you're in deep problems.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think he's a fantastic contract. One of the reasons that Daryl is someone who I think is worth going to bat for in this.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things I thought throughout the season is you see how selective Curry can be with when he shoots the ball, just like not forcing shots. And I thought he was such a great shooter because of that, and just kind of that was skewed the numbers. And then in the playoffs, when we saw him kind of bite off a larger role and still putting up these same numbers and even better, it was awesome to me. And I love that he's still here for 2 more years.
Yeah, it'd be better if he actually resigns for extended stay, and maybe gets his brother to request a trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Never kicking him out. All right, Andre Drummond at 79.
God, no. 72, 70, 73. I mean, like, what is Andre Drummond? He's like an elite rebounder, especially in the offensive glass.
And the 4th highest rated 2K player on the Sixers roster, which is pretty absurd.
That's embarrassing to 2K.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, he's the 4th highest rated player. So above him, we'll go. I think we're all in agreement for too high on that one. Now we'll hop to the man of the hour, Ben Simmons at 84, which is the lowest since his rookie year. He also,
go ahead.
He also, real quick on Ben, has a lower 3-point shooting than Boban.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Boban can shoot it a little bit. He will shoot it a little bit. Probably about right. I think 84. I mean, he's taken a massive step back not even just this year, but like I think last year I would say was his best year. I think he was the best player on the team last year, comparatively speaking. Just it was messy this past season. So yeah, I think 84 is fair. Maybe 85.
James?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he's better than that. Like, I feel like there's a better Ben in that body than what we saw. But yeah, I guess 84 to start this year maybe is the right call.
Yeah, to me that's fair. And from the Ben Simmons we've seen, I think you can find guys a little lower than 84 rated to serve that job, which I think says a lot. 2 more now. Tobias Harris at 85.
Probably go 87 for him.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So that seems low. That definitely seems low. Especially considering that they ranked him, NBA ranked him as the 7th best power forward, which I also thought was kind of low. But yeah, I think like high-ish 80s, 87, 88.
Yeah, I saw that story, that rankings, and the one for whoever was directly in front of him, I forget who it was the only one in front of him that I disagreed with. But I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds about right. And like, he gets so much flack, and he'll be the one that they turn to send off into the abyss once Ben's gone. But he's like a really, really good player. Like,
yeah,
just a scratching all-star level, I think.
I agree. And I think Tobias covered a lot of the Ben Simmons slack last year with the way he could get a bucket in the 4th and be an isolation scorer. And I'm cool with Toby. I think a couple notches higher for sure. And then last one, Joel Embiid, 95 overall. Now, for reference, that is behind LeBron, KD, Giannis, Steph, and then tied with Kawhi, Jokic.
I go higher. I go probably 96, 97.
Yeah. Crazy there's no one over 96.
I mean, yeah, as number one, because they really love to just toss those to LeBron and KD and whoever else. But like, realistically, what are the holes in his game? I mean, yeah, his passing is inconsistent. His turnovers are a problem. That's never been enough to like downgrade somebody from being a 97 or whatever the highest rating has been. He was like a 37% 3-point shooter, which was above average, 85 from the line, whatever. I think maybe higher than that, and arguably the most dominant offensive player in the league last year. And then a ridiculously franchise-altering impact defensive player. So what more do you need to be higher than a 96? I mean, come on. I think that's a little bit low.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really not much to say about Joel. Like, I agree completely with you, but I just as long as he's in that top tier of players, I think that it's not even disrespect to Joel as much as it is like just kind of putting him in that higher group of players. I think because like you said, I think 7 is a little bit low in terms of like the rankings in the top 10 players, and then I think 95 is a bit low because I just don't see many. Where do the points come off in terms of what is he missing? So I agree it's a little bit low, but like as long as he's up in that higher tier of players, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it boils down to is just Embiid doesn't really fit like the narrative that sells the modern NBA. Like,
yeah,
the story of Giannis is so appealing at a national level or at a global level, I should say. Kevin Durant's Kevin Durant. LeBron is LeBron. Those guys are all massive marketing for the NBA, and Joel is a representative of the process, and the process is a representative of Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is the doormat across most sports. So I think it's just going to be a matter of like you need to play above what the MVP level is in order to get recognized in the city, I think.
Yeah. And real quick, just like as much as we all get caught up on like getting better and everything, there is a little bit of just a sit back and appreciate just how good he's gotten and all the hopes of what he could be kind of coming to fruition, and just seeing the guy and the player that he's developed into has been so awesome. Just have a front row seat for all that. And I agree. He's right up there with all the best in the league, and it's so cool to just call him our own.